Hey VC, how's it going? JT, going to make another video today. It's metal season, fantastic. First of all, we are listening to in the background Death Angel, The Dream Calls for Blood, and I'll explain why we're listening to that in a minute. Everyone's been showing their Iron Maiden this week, and well, I'm going to do the same. I was one of the lucky people that got this for $13.98 on Amazon. Didn't last long. Wasn't shortly after I ordered mine, they took it off. Then they put it back up for $71.99, and then a couple days later you couldn't order it at all. And then right before it came out, it was up for $35. $72? Really, guys? Anyway, the new Iron Maiden, The Book of Souls. Now, when this was coming out, when they first talked about it coming out, I was a little skeptical. I didn't know what to expect, because Iron Maiden has progressed throughout the years, and they're all, I don't know, you could say they're a progressive metal band now. I'm not a big prog guy, but I'm not going to lie, I have not listened to the whole album. Metal season, the first, every week of September, I pull a CD, a new album out of my Rocktober box, and I listen to it for the whole week. Then October 1st, I open everything. So I'm treating this like 2 albums. Last week, I listened to Motorhead all week, the new Motorhead. And this week, I've been listening to the first disc of this. And I'll tell you, what I've heard on the first CD is really good. I've listened to it probably 6 times now. And here's the inner. And all the songs on it so far, on that first disc, are just really good. So I'm going to treat it like 2 albums. I'll listen to the second one next week. The artwork on this is fantastic. Like I said, I haven't heard anything off of the second CD yet, but the packaging on this is beautiful. The inner sleeves. I'm only going to show 2 of the 3. Something also neat about these, I use plastic lined inner sleeves, and usually I just put it on top of these and slide it in. These actually fit inside, so that makes it nice because it doesn't make it as bulky, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. Put the songs on that side and the Eddie artwork on the other. 180 gram black vinyl, as it should be. I mean, man, Iron Maiden's had so many problems, so much negativity with their picture discs that they released. And finally, they released this one on black vinyl. And this label's on all 3 albums. And then that the other one that I showed is on 2 of them. This one, I love that. That is a badass Eddie right there. So, what do I think of it? Well, like I said, what I've heard, the first disc is really good. Is it killers? No. Number of the Beast? No. It's today's Iron Maiden. But I tell you, sometimes, I don't know, I yearn, I guess. Do you guys yearn? Anyone ever yearn? Well, Seinfeld there, George Costanza. I yearn for my favorite metal bands. Sometimes I just wish that they would release an old school heavy metal album. Like Iron Maiden and man, Judas Priest, Wasp, Anthrax, Exodus. And I don't want them to duplicate other albums. I just wish that they would, I don't know. Remember back in the 80s with our music, our metal, it was, I don't know, like us against the world, you know? It was metal. We are metal. It's us against the world, and you get these great albums. I just wish that they would, like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. And I'm not saying the stuff they put out now is bad, because it's not. It's good. It's really good. It's just different. Maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis. I don't know. But I go back and listen to all the old stuff all the time. Part of it because that edge it had, that feeling of, you know, we're the outcasts. We're a small group, a small community in the world of metalheads. And I don't know, maybe it was the unity or something. I just wish that they would do a 10-song album. The songs, 3-4 minute song, maybe a couple 5-minute songs. I mean, the lyrics nowadays are so deep. I mean, even on this Iron Maiden album, I'm a drummer, so first thing I listen to is production. I listen to the sound of the drums. What do the drums sound like? Then the music, and then eventually I get into the lyrics. Concept albums to me, no, I can't follow a concept album. I don't want to. So a lot of people say this one is a concept album. I saw an interview with Nico. He said it's not, but he could see where people might link some of the songs together. So as far as I know, this is not a concept album. But I just wish that they would do a 40, 42, 43 minute CD, 10 songs, badass artwork, without the real deep lyrics. Remember, I like my metal like I like my pizza. Extra cheese. Because the stuff in the 80s, it was pretty damn cheesy. But that's what we grew up on. That's what we loved. And I still love it. And I just sometimes wish that they would go back and make a cheesy metal album. That would be great. Badass artwork, simple songs, just heavy, crunchy, not singing about, oh man, like I said, some of the lyrics now are so damn deep. Geez, it's hard to follow. And a lot of today's metal is so technical too. I mean, some of these bands, like the drummers are just, and they're fantastic musicians. Just after a while, I mean, it's hard to follow. There's so much going on with the technicality of the guitars and the drums, and man, after 3 or 4 songs, I just hear mush. That's why I don't really get into today's metal that much. But I just yearn for an old school 1987 heavy metal album. Like Judas Priest and Anthrax and Iron Maiden. Just give me a 40-minute, 10-track album with badass artwork. Us against the world. That's all. Anyway, enough of that rant. That's just how I feel. I yearn for that sometimes. But thankfully, we've got all the old stuff to go back and listen to. Now, the reason we're listening to Death Angel, they released this DVD called A Thrashumentary, and I haven't watched it yet. It's in my Rocktober box here. I did open it. But it's basically a documentary on them and the Bay Area thrash scene back in the early 80s, like when these guys first started out. And it looks really, really good. The little snippets I've seen online looks good. So it's a DVD, and also there's a live concert from December 27th of 2014, so it's just last year. It's a live concert. I have heard the live album. It's online, and it is killer. And I was able to snag a copy of that live concert on vinyl. It's called The Bay Calls for Blood. And this is a really good album. This is still sealed. I'll open it October 1st. But like I said, I've listened to it online, and man, it is so good. I'm really looking forward to watching that documentary. There's a lot of bands on there giving commentary. You know, there's Exodus and Anthrax and Slayer. So it really does look really, really good. And I got a couple other things in the Rocktober box. Let me see here. Picked up Witchcross. This one's called Axe to Grind. It came out, I think, last year. I know Greeno's big on these guys. Greeno, and I think LJ has showed them before. This is, like I said, this album just came out last year on Hell's Headbangers. So I picked that one up. And these guys, man, their first album I still haven't listened to. I know everyone's all about it. The second album sucked. I actually bought it on CD and vinyl for my Rocktober box 2 years ago and heard part of it online, and oh god, that was terrible. That was some bullshit. But this one I've heard online, and it is good. It's the new Ghost, Meliora. This is a pretty good album. Metal? No. Hard rock? Yeah, they got their hard rock on this one. So this is super good. Looking forward to opening that. I got it on CD also. And that's really about it. The new stuff I put in the Rocktober box. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of rant a little bit about my favorite metal bands and you know, the kind of music that's out now and the kind of music that they made back in the day. Just, I don't know. I guess it's just more like a feeling and nostalgia from back then. You know, I just remember being 17, 15, 14, 21, and you know, these guys would release new albums, and they were aggressive, and a lot of them were fast, they were heavy, and we just had, and I know a lot of people feel this way, you just had an instant connection, you know? I mean, that's why those albums are classics. You look at the first 8 Iron Maiden albums, they're all classics. Judas Priest the same way, Anthrax, and Metallica. Good God, Metallica, get your shit together. Man, they're supposed to release a new album next year. They should go back and listen to Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning and get that edge back, instead of making these big elaborate songs. And come on, just go back to being Metallica just once. But anyway, the new Iron Maiden, man, this is good, what I've heard of it. I'm looking forward to listening to the second disc. I'm probably going to end up listening to the second one this week, I'm sure. But it's a good album, good songs, long, yes, involved, yes. It's not something really to put on, listen to in the background at a party. It's something that I have to like sit and focus on, and like listen to the first CD from beginning to end. I have to completely focus on that. So, but anyway, that's my video for today. The new Iron Maiden's good. A couple more weeks, I'm going to have a bunch of stuff to show from the Rocktober box. So I hope everyone's doing well, enjoying metal season. Keep it metal, guys. Keep it loose. Take care.